So I'm going to show you an app that uses some clever algorithms to figure out position using GPS satellites, as well as how sure you are of that position. So if you launch the app, it'll show you pretty much a blank screen, which allows you to record locations. And as it records locations, if I hit start, it'll start recording locations once a second. And as it records, it reports the current best estimate of your latitude and longitude, as well as a pretty sensible estimate of how accurate those numbers are. So right at the moment, the altitude is 58 plus or minus 3.22 meters. Longitude is plus or minus about the same as its latitude. And so far we've got eight satellites in view. That's not very many, but we're operating indoors. So we're expecting smaller numbers there. Once the system is recorded for a while, the accuracy will slowly increase. And how quickly the accuracy increases does depend on the algorithm you use to calculate the position. And there are a variety of algorithms that we have put into the app. Part of that is us comparing algorithms, part of that is providing the user with a few options as to how to do it. So if I were to stop this, it now will no longer capture new information, and it has an estimate of the location. So right now I can save this location, and I'll give it a name. I'll call it lab, because we are in fact in a lab. And now I can set the origin of my estimates to be the lab. And so if I were to start again, it will now wait for the GPS satellites to come into view. That does take a while. As you can see, it's still waiting. And once it locates GPS satellites, which it has now, it'll record the distance and the altitude difference between my current location and the saved origin. That's pretty handy because it allows you to calculate differences in position as well as how accurate those differences are. So for example, if you were interested in measuring how far a particular landmark was from some other location and you needed that quite accurate, this will allow you to estimate that difference as well as how accurate your estimate is. And if you were to wait for a very long time recording this data, perhaps for hours, you could get the accuracy down to the centimeter level. So it could be used for something similar to surveying type applications. Keep in mind, however, that this is not a legally calibrated piece of measuring equipment for surveying use. So you can also stop this, you can share your location, which allows you to send the position information via any particular application that you feel like using. So we won't do that right now. In the preferences, there are a couple of things you can do. One is you can modify the settings, which allows you to choose different algorithms. We have 4 different algorithms here. This is an uncentered Kalman filter. There's an alpha beta filter, position averaging filter, and a one-dimensional Kalman filter, as well as some options on how you're going to calculate your position. The other thing you can do in here is calculate distances, which allows you to choose two positions. We'll choose position 1 being the lab, position 2 being the other lab, and find the distances. And in this case, I've recorded 2 different positions from different labs in the building, and this is reporting them as being 21 meters apart in altitude and 53 meters apart in horizontal distance. That's it.